You are now entering the horror sanctum.
Hello and welcome back to the Horror Sanctum podcast. I'm Jay with John, Kellen, and TJ. And Halloween is just 11 days away. So I just have one question for you. Trick or treat? That's right. This week we're going to be talking about 2007's Halloween anthology flick, Trick or Treat. Not to be confused with the 1986 film, which was made popular recently by the Today I Watched short series on YouTube. Go check that out if you haven't. If you're not familiar with this movie, first of all, wow. Interwoven stories demonstrate that some traditions are best not forgotten, as the residents of a small town face real ghosts and goblins on Halloween. Let's kick this episode off with our resident anthology fan, the smiley faced assassin himself.
Yeah, 2007's Trick or Treat. Rated R, obviously. I don't know why I put that in my notes. I just thought it was funny because I was like, I put it in and then I was like, most horror movies are probably rated R anyway. I mean, the PG-13 ones aren't going to be as gory as this one, but 81% on Rotten Tomato, and this is an interesting thing. On Rotten Tomato, there's no audience score, so I dug deeper and found out there wasn't a theatrical release. There was a short run. It made about $30,000 in just a couple of theaters, but for the most part, it's kind of a direct to DVD Blu-ray movie. So obviously, probably not enough statistics or numbers for audience views for them to accurately count it. But 81% critic score, which is really good for a horror film. Only an hour and 22 minutes, which is kind of the sweet spot for this kind of film. And I learned something very important about myself watching this. I do not like anthology films. I hated this. It was so boring. Holy crap. Holy cow. The last story with Sam is obviously the best part. That's enjoyable with the brilliant Brian Cox. Um, but other than that, I literally was just so bored. I had to actually rewind about 20 minutes of this movie because I realized I had zoned out so hard I had no idea what was going on.
There's
The
five
kids forgot.
stories in those 82 minutes. How did you get so bored?
I was absolutely bored out of my gourd, rhyme intended. I saw the kid, the heavyset kid, and the girl going down the um, elevator into the mine area or whatever, and I was like, "How did they get there?" And so I started rewinding, and I was like, "I don't remember any of this. I don't remember any of this. I don't remember. I don't know if I remember any of this movie." I was 40 minutes into it, so I had to go all the way back to the principal. Spoilers, carving the head of the chubby kid that he gave the poison to's head as a jack-o'-lantern. I had to go that far back into this movie to watch again. So technically, I've seen the majority of Trick or Treat twice, and both times it was a huge disappointment. I get the love for Sam. That's such an iconic look. I wish that was the whole movie. I wish instead of being an anthology, it would have just been a movie about the kids, because I do think what they did well was tie all the stories in together, um, with Sam and the bus full of kids. Um, I felt like that's where it should have started, was the bus full of kids and ended with Sam, and it should have just kind of been a whole story about that. The whole principal thing felt stupid. I found another cringe for me is when any creep dude is grabbing some woman and he licks her neck. That is so cringe and disgusting to me to watch that happen that I immediately started praying for that guy's death in the movie. And congratulations, I got what my wish. That never happens. But it was nice to see him get his comeuppance, even though that whole scene was also cringy and dumb. What was the point of them? Oh, rip all of her clothes off and then just rip her skin off so that we can turn into werewolves or whatever the heck they were supposed to be. That was just, ugh, ugh. I literally did that while watching that scene. I went, ugh. This is just the most messed of meh movies that I've seen in a while. It's boring. It's predictable. There's not enough time. I was thinking to myself, I was like, I really enjoy Tales from the Crypt, which is basically an anthology type thing because it's all short stories. But the difference is in these type of movies, it feels like they're trying to condense an entire movie into about the space of about 20 minutes. So they're trying to build the characters enough for you to care, to have a climax, and then to have some kind of resolution, and it just doesn't work. Where Tales from the Crypt was different was it starts off on a creepy vibe and keeps that vibe going, and it tells just a really condensed story without worrying about the backstory of the characters, without worrying about world building. It's they kind of just throw you in, kind of like the one with Jason Alexander, where you find out that he's sleeping with two different women and they're going to fight over him, and then you find at the end he's been cut in half. That was it. It's so condensed. You don't need a whole lot of extra stuff. You don't really care what anything else's backstory is. You're just thrown in there. In this, they're trying to make 5 movies in the span of an hour and 22 minutes, and it just doesn't work for me. It's always feels too rushed. It always feels not developed enough for me to even care about the story, and that's what I realized when I was watching this is I didn't care about the stories. I didn't have enough to go on, or there was too much to go on in a short period of time for me to actually care about the ending. And by the time the ending came, I just felt underwhelmed. I think if they'd had maybe done it more as a different perspective kind of thing, like the movie Traffic, where it's all one story leading up to the climax, where it's different perspectives of the same story and all merging together. But this is, even though it does kind of do that, it also feels disjointed, because you're trying to throw too much at us. So I went into this movie with high hopes, but it taught me about myself. It taught me that anthologies are not for me. I I saw the look on everybody's face when I said that I didn't like this movie. So I'm sure I'm in the minority. And again, it's at 81% on Rotten Tomatoes, and if critics give something a horror film an 81%, that typically means it's good, especially if it's not in that A24 elevated horror genre, because that's the pretentious type of stuff that movie critics typically give high ratings to. This definitely is not a pretentious, overwritten, too deep thinking kind of film. This is supposed to be just kind of a fun, jaunt in the slasher genre, with some recognizable faces. I mean, they've got Anna Paquin, Dylan Baker. I don't know who that is. Yes, you do. Just Google his face. As soon
You
as it
said
pops
that.
up,
What
you
did
know
we
who it
watch
is.
recently where you said that exact same line?
What's that?
We did a movie recently and you said the same thing about Dylan Baker. You said you don't know him, but yes, you do. Well, I don't remember what movie it was, but when I watched this, I'm like, oh yeah, he's in. I was like, we just watched something that he was in, and Kellen said, you know him.
Yeah, and I have
He
that
was the
conversation.
lizard in one of the Spider-Man movies with
The original
fox.
trilogy.
Oh,
yeah,
was he
yeah,
in the
he was the
original
one
one?
around-
Yeah,
never
he
transformed.
well, he
He
never
never
tra-
transformed.
yeah,
Yeah,
he
we
was
don't
just the
actually get to see the
professor.
payoff.
Yeah.
That was the Tobey Maguire. That was the third one, was it?
The second one.
Probably.
Well,
Was it the second one?
Doc Connor. Are you talking about Toby Maguire's?
Yeah,
He's in the
Yeah.
first one. He's a teacher on
that
campus saying you're
that's
always
right.
late. You got to start coming to class.
Right.
And then that he never evolved into the lizard.
Oh,
No, that's not the first one, is it?
It's either the
Because the
first or
first one he's
second
still in high school. The
It's
second
2
one is
and
when he's in
3.
college. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The second one is when he's in college. Okay, but yeah. If you don't, I'll say it every time he pops up. Apparently, because he's one of those people that's been in so many things, you instantly recognize his
he's
face.
a character actor.
Yeah, yeah, and he's a great one because all the roles that he plays fits perfectly into his acting style, and this is no exception. He's really good in this, playing a creepy high school principal.
And he looks
Um,
totally different in that mask. I thought that was a totally different guy.
Yeah, that was a neat way to tie it all in together. Again, though, that whole story I just didn't care about. Once he licked her on the neck, I was ready for him to be gone. And then Leslie Bibb, and that's another, one of those female actresses that you see a lot, and she doesn't get the recognition she deserves as far as being a good actress. She carries her own in any scene she's in. But yeah, this movie was just one of those movies that I was ready for it to end, and I'm glad it was only an hour and 22 minutes because I could not get into it for the life of me. So sorry, guys.
Well, you do not disappoint, Kellen. It was a coin flip on this one for me because I thought maybe, it's newer, and the character of Sam, I thought you would at least appreciate the iconography of. So, it's good to know that about yourself. We all have subgenres that we dislike or just don't like as much as other people. I grew up watching horror anthologies from the 60s and the 70s, and there's still 6 or 7 that I would put above this one because I didn't grow up with nostalgia for this one. This come out when I was you know, out of college. Uh, but I do like this movie, and I have seen it, and it started to have limited theatrical releases over the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 years, and in the theaters sporadically. It's playing in the next little bit here in spooky season and in theaters around the country, different days. I saw it on its 15th anniversary when they first started really rolling it back out in theaters. It had a weird history because it just basically debuted like at the end of 2007, I think in December, and a little festival. It did the festival and the convention circuit and like the sci-fi horror festivals. I think it played at a Fangoria festival in like '08. But it did that for like 2 years before people really knew anything about it. And people really didn't know anything about it till I think it hit DVD in 2009. That's when I first saw it in Walmart while I was working at Walmart with Jay, and just bought the DVD off the rack. I don't even think it had Blu-ray for a while. And then the Blu-ray went out of print, and now I think Scream Factory did a re-release not too long back that it looked like Jay was showing. I still
Arrow
have
did one too. I had the Arrow 4K.
I have the original Blu-ray that went out of print. In one of my mini binders I had to search through and rewatch the other day. But it's a good release. So it's written and directed by this cat named Michael Dougherty, who apparently was uh, one of the many uh, understudies of Bryan Singer, uh, the infamous now Bryan Singer. But it's this movie's like a weird thing on his filmography because he just did some kind of indie things, and then all of a sudden he does X-Men 2, and then he does uh, a terrible Urban Legends Bloody Mary sequel. But then he does Superman Returns with Bryan Singer again, and then he does this. And it's like, okay, I guess you did a horror movie, and now you got this. He's obviously a fan of horror and Halloween and the conventions and stuff. I think he kind of tested this out with like some mini animated things. I think there's even some of that on the Blu-ray that I have. So I imagine it's also made its way into the newer releases. Uh, I know at one point he did a lot of little mini 1 minute shorts for like every holiday that wasn't Halloween, like leading up to Halloween with Sam and that character. Um, I think there's a comic series that's, I mean, they kind of made it like it was a comic series, although I don't think there was actually a comic when they kind of made the film. But I think that they've come out. I've seen some comics of the characters since then, which it was kind of made to mimic Creepshow and Tales from the Crypt and all those things that were based on EC comics in the 50s before the comics code said, "Oh, can't make fun things anymore," at least not for 20 years. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think Kellen, in some ways, did hit the nail on the head in terms of the one um, negative about horror anthologies is even the good ones, you don't get a lot of character development. You don't have a lot of time for backstory. There's usually a wraparound story just to try and tie it all together, and this does have that. This film actually goes a step or two beyond to really interconnect the individual stories together, which I really enjoy. There's not a lot of them that do that, or at least not do it well. And that was like an added thing, not just to have a wraparound story that's taking place. Usually, the wraparound stories back in the day, like in Tales from the Crypt, the original movie, or A Vault of Horror, or any of those old British Amicus productions, it was all like, here's 5 people, and somehow they get into a small room or a train or some enclosed space together, and somebody starts telling stories, or they all start sharing stories about themselves or whatever. And then they all realize that somehow they're there for a reason. And then that's the wraparound story, and you get a little twist ending, and then you're out the door and you spent 20 minutes with everybody, and that's all you really needed because it was just a little snapshot, which I do think is basically Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Dark Side, to some extent, some of the iterations of the Twilight Zone. They're all essentially just one of those little mini stories. It is about the same amount of character development. It varies story to story, and some are better than others, obviously. But I've always liked these little snippet stories that you could just kind of cherry pick. And in every anthology, there's some that are better than others. Like not all little mini stories within the anthology are created equal. I do think overall this is one of the more solid ones in terms of the quality not dropping down significantly from story to story. And I do like one that has at least 4 or 5 stories rather than a lot of the old ones, like even Creepshow 2. They do spend longer and have more character development, but they'll have like 30-minute stories, and that almost doesn't feel like an anthology to me, because if you have one story that's weaker than the others, it's like half the movie sucks. So I like kind of spending about 20-ish minutes per story and then having them kind of interlinked like that. But that's just me. I think Sam is an iconic character. They've been teasing Trick or Treat 2 for like a decade now, but apparently it's in active development as of like 2 years ago. So it's showing up on Michael Dougherty's um it's showing up on his um IMDb page now.
There
So
we go. We got there.
yeah, yeah. Right. I was distracted by the screens. Anyway, um that's about all I got to say about it. What do you think about this, John?
I think I first saw this ripped on a site in 2008. Is illegally because back then I was in college, cheap, might have bought some movies some. I think I was an HD DVD guy, so I was getting cheap stuff and I was probably watching this on a legal site. It is odd they still haven't done a sequel. It's like the longest running development hell of something besides Masters of the Universe, the new one that still hasn't come out. Um, Krampus kind of is a spiritual sequel, right? Same director, same. It's a holiday horror. It's kind of like a spiritual successor. It's not the same thing, but it's similar. This movie's on Halloween night, so it's like perfect for a Halloween type film. The music's awesome. Bryan Singer is involved with it, so he's got a lot of his touches in it, a lot of his actors and regulars that he uses. There's certain things about this film you could watch it, and if someone said Bryan Singer directed it, it wouldn't be like a stretch. Even though he didn't, you'd be like, I could see that he directed it, which wouldn't shock me if you did. Overall, I do like it. I really like it. I own the 4K. Um, I don't think that I love it as much as everybody else does because I think the reason for that is I've seen it so many freaking times since it came out. I feel like I've watched this movie like hundreds of times, and I think I've just got this thing where I've seen it so much. It's like it's kind of worn off on me a little bit, even though I still enjoy it. I own it. I still watch it. I think the rewatches kind of hurt it for me after a while. Dylan Baker as the principal, the killer, that guy, he is such a good actor. I swear, every time I see that guy in a movie, I want to fucking kill him. I can't stand that guy. In Spider-Man 2, I hate that fucking guy. Every time Peter
Fido?
gets Spider-Man
Fido?
2.
No, I'm not. Did you like Fido?
I did not see Fido. No, I did
Okay.
not see that.
Was he in
Yeah.
Fido? I haven't seen
He
Fido
was the dad in
forever.
Fido. Yeah, he's the man. One of
That's
the main guys.
right. That's right. He's just got one of those faces that makes you
Yeah.
want to punch him.
Sorry, John.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2.
No, I agree. He does have that face, and I mean, it's like I think like in Spider-Man 2 when Peter's working his ass off, and he's like, "You got to try hard." I'm just like, every time, and I know that's like his character, but I can't stand that guy. I don't know what it is about his face, even though it's like the Sally Hawkins thing. Good actor, good actress. I just
Wasn't
something
he the
there.
Nazi in that Amazon TV show with Al Pacino?
Hunters, yeah.
Yeah, in the pool scene where he just kills his whole family.
That's like episode 1, I think. Episode 1 or 2. That's very early on.
That's a great point, John. He has the face of somebody that you
You know what
can't
I
wait for
think
him to
about
kid his
him?
comeuppance in any movie he's in.
In my mind, I call him Temu Greg Kinnear.
Yeah,
I see it.
that's similar. I
But
mean,
Greg Kinnear has a likable face.
Sometimes. Not all of
Yeah,
it.
sometimes, yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, he gets what he's got coming to him at the end. He's with the werewolf scene, spoiler. Of the stories in the movie, I think the old bus driver and Sam and the school bus massacre are the two best ones. The werewolf scene is a cool twist. I don't like it as much now. I think it's just one of those things watching it now. It's a little cheesy, and I don't know, Marilyn Manson for me now, it just doesn't work. Every time I hear a Marilyn Manson in a movie now, I'm just kind of like it takes me back to this time period in my life of high school, and I'm just like, I don't want to hear this. Like I don't know why. It's a bias thing, I guess. Sam is cute, love Sam. It's a really good anthology film. It really is. Creep Show definitely takes the cake. I love Creep Show. I can't rank anything higher than Creep Show. I just fucking love Creep Show. As far as this in relation to the other Trick or Treat movie, I would say is rating wise, they're pretty equal to me, but I definitely like the old one more just because like I think it's just there's something about the rock music in the movie and the way it's done with the Trick or Treat 86. I just love that movie. It's so much fun. It's not better than this per se. It's just like a personal favorite type thing.
But
I
you
would say.
like most 80s rock horror.
Exactly. It's a bias. I love 80s movies and I love 80s films like that. And I think that's just like a personal preference. It's not like a quality thing per se. I think, it's a fan favorite for so many people and I really like it. I mean, I bought it, obviously enjoy it. There's not a lot of competition for this type of movie. I think that's what's so unique about it. Even though there's anthologies, there's not a lot like this one.
There's a
And
lot that suck, like really suck.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's a
yeah.
lot, but they're mostly bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I can't really say a lot of bad things about it. It's really good, and I think the rewatch is maybe what hurts it for me. But overall, I mean, I really like it. I have no bad words really about it. So yeah.
We've talked about Spider-Man. I'm drinking out of my Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 1 cup, which does have an actual lizard in it, transformation. So,
Oh, I thought you were drinking with a lizard in your cup.
before we dig in, and I don't know how well Kellen will do with this, but what's your favorite anthology movie aside from Creepshow? Like, if you could only watch one anthology movie for the rest of your life, which one are you picking?
Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, 1965. Peter
Fucking
Cushing.
nerd.
Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, Donald Sutherland. Man, that's a classic.
John, what would be one of yours? Like, I like Body Bags a lot. Like, I'm a big Body Bags guy.
I like
'cause
Body
it's short
Bags.
and there's only 3 stories.
That's the
Um,
one that has 3 stories that's still good.
Maybe Tales from the Dark Side, or I would say the Tales from the Dark Side 87 I like a lot, but I don't, a Trilogy of Terror, the
The
second
movie
one,
was
or the
1990.
first one. The first Trilogy of Terror I like a lot, but really Creep Show is just so leaps. I would say that this is pretty close as far as higher. Trick or Treat's up there. So,
I think, like, Scare Package is up there for me, which is a newer one.
your patch.
That's a decent one.
Some of the VHS ones are good. And then, I don't know if anyone else saw the Mortuary
Mortuary
Collection.
That's pretty
Oh,
good.
nice.
with Clancy Brown. That's a good one. There are some good ones that they still make. Most of the newer ones are kind of bad.
According to IMDb, the Tales from the Crypt 1972 is the highest rated or the best.
That's probably my second
Anthology.
favorite one. And then
Dead of Nights 2,
Creepshow.
Black Sabbath 3,
Oh, Dead of Night's
Quaidon,
great.
which is, so I don't know what that is, but
What was it?
Creepshow's 5.
That's a Japanese movie. Quaidon.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
1964. Creepshow was
It's got
5.
Criterion.
A lot of those movies back then, the only problem with old anthology movies is they're so dated. You got to be in the right mood to watch them. They're just so dated.
Well, you don't
know?
like British stuff either, and most of them are British.
It's just it's old.
Both
I mean,
things
it's
can
not
be true.
bad, but yeah.
Both things
What
can be
was
true.
the one we talked about, TJ, with Vincent Price and the guy with the bug eyes? It was like different.
Peter Lorre. Oh, Tales of Terror.
Yeah, that
That's the
I
old
actually
Roger
really
Corman
enjoyed.
movie. Yeah,
That
that's
I
one of my
enjoyed. It
favorites.
was all stories from like Shakespeare and stuff. Not Shakespeare, but Edgar Allan Poe.
Right.
Sorry, yeah, and all the Poe stories. I actually enjoyed that. I sat and watched that whole thing, and
I
was
watched that
pleasantly
probably
surprised.
every couple of years. Yeah.
Trilogy of Terror, John, might be the anthology movie I've seen the most because it was on
Karen
USA all the
Black.
time.
It was
Everybody,
on all the time, and then they
that and
played.
Tremors.
Then they played Trilogy of Terror 2, which was a made for USA '96
yeah,
movie,
that
which
one
is not
didn't
as
do as
good.
well, right? So, but we're here for Trick or Treat, so I got us a little sidetracked. But I love this movie a lot. Like, it's fun, it's short, it's effective. My biggest knock on it, watching it again, and I haven't watched it in a couple of years. The bus scene is probably one of the better stories, but it's a little long in the tooth, I think. Like they start out kind of hitting us like bang, 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 and then like bang, like then we get that longer one right there, and it kind of feels a little out of place.
It
Um,
needed a more abrupt ending. Just showed the ghost children and boom.
yeah, something. But um, first off, Kelly never disappoints, right? John and I both thought you were gonna like this one. So that's probably strike three. We're out. Like, no more benefits of the doubt for you, K Dog. Uh, John Marilyn Manson, I get what you're saying, but anytime Sweet Dreams is in a movie trailer, I will watch that movie. Specifically, it always makes me think of Sucker Punch and the slow Sweet Dreams coming in. I'm like, it makes me automatically want to see the movie. For this movie, it's okay, right? And I like that they did try to change up the werewolf transformation, but it was a little weird. You just peel off your skin like that and throw it away. That was a little much, and like they were taking them off like stockings, the girls. So that was a little weird.
It's hard to make werewolves sexy. It just is.
Yeah. What's the? We just John and I both just watched one of us
The greatest
watched a
werewolf,
terrible
werewolf
werewolf
movie of all
movie.
time is the beginning of Thriller. I don't care what anybody says.
Well, that's because it's directed by Landis, who did American Werewolf in London, which probably is the greatest werewolf movie of all time.
He did the Twilight
I would
movie
have to
too,
watch
right?
it.
The Twilight Zone movie. So he got kids killed. So good for him. Um,
He did get canceled for a few years there with
yeah, for a few years,
the,
not long
the
enough.
murders.
Cursed films on Shudder. If no one else has seen that,
Oh,
they
yeah.
dig into Twilight Zone movies. Great. Man, you made me go off track there.
You were talking about Wolfen, that terrible movie.
Wolfen. John and I both
Yeah,
watched Wolfen. Have you ever seen Wolfen?
That's not a werewolf movie. It's just about wolves in a city.
And
It's
Close enough.
werewolves kind of.
they
Yeah.
play it like a werewolf movie.
Yeah.
I mean, Jacob in Twilight was a werewolf, but he was just a big wolf, right?
Right. I guess
Yeah.
that's true.
Different. But yeah, awful movie. John fell asleep. Right. I only finished it because it was on at work, and Gregory Hines shows up, and I love Gregory Hines.
Who
For
doesn't? I don't
The
trust anybody
Cherokee
that does.
Kid specifically with Sinbad, the Western. Anyone
Oh,
else
that's a
seen that?
great movie. Yeah, I love that
I
movie.
love that movie so much. You can't find it anywhere. It's on the website though.
I
Anyways,
read that on VHS back in the day.
yeah, John touched on it a little bit. Him and I talked earlier too. Like I said, this is one of my takes. I don't want you to take it because I'm like, if anybody points this out, it'd be him. But I think Sam is just Krampus, right? He's just Halloween's Krampus because he's there as an enforcer. He personifies Halloween. He punishes those who don't abide by the traditions of Halloween. He's Krampus. So I think there's got to be commentary on this somewhere. I bet someone says, we know we got a lot of inspiration from the lore of Krampus. I guarantee it because it plays exactly like it.
Wait, Michael Dougherty also wrote Krampus.
Did he?
Yeah. He
Yeah.
directed it. Yeah.
Didn't he
there
Did
you
you
go.
say that earlier,
There
John?
you go. You
Yeah,
made
Makes
the
sense.
connection.
So there it is.
Yep.
So then that makes perfect sense. So I'm probably right on there, right? And I was just watching that again. Like again, it's been a few years. I was just picking up on them. Okay, he's punishing these people who are not abiding by the rules that are set by Halloween, just like Krampus would do. So
I bet Michael Dougherty is a dick to be around for any holiday.
let him make a good Easter movie, a good Easter horror. I think that's one of the big ones we're lacking.
Somebody needs to.
Yeah. So all right, but other than that, there's really nothing that anybody hasn't touched on that I would agree or disagree with, besides Kellen, which we usually do disagree with Kellen. But we just know anthologies aren't his thing, so we'll find a few more. We'll eventually find an anthology that he will like. And you know what's funny? I bet Kellen would like Creepshow 2 better than Creepshow.
You think?
I do.
Because it's definitively not as good.
It's shorter.
I
It
could
is
do that as
shorter.
a today I watched.
It's shorter.
You should.
And then
and
watch
real,
Creepshow 3 just for funsies.
Oh God,
real quick,
that's
real
awful.
quick, everything Jay said about the tie is almost dead on. Both Sam and Krampus are ancient immortal beings who enforce the rules of their respective holidays, while Sam for Trick and Treat and Krampus are both folklore creatures that punish people from breaking holiday traditions. There are key differences, their origins, methods, and motives, but basically they have the same kind of impetus to their
I felt
being.
kind of smart when I thought about that, but
I
now that
think
you
you
read it like
unlocked
that,
the
I'm
whole
like,
thing, Jay. I think you got it.
yeah, but now you skip a little too on the nose now that you read that.
Oh, and Michael Dougherty, director and creator, confirmed they exist in the same universe.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that makes sense. Okay. I didn't Google that, so go Jay. Anyways,
Smart boy.
nothing else on my end, so we can close up shop, go around, give our rankings, and then close out. So I give this one a 3.5. I think it's been a steady between 3 and 4 every time I've watched it. John, you made a good point. The rewatchability, that's something that I factor into my rankings. It is rewatchable and it's fun to watch it in October, right? Even if you don't, even if it's just background noise, it's just a fun movie to put on for Halloween because it is Halloween. But yeah, it's not like the werewolf scene. Do I care to see that again anytime soon? No. The werewolf transformation, like I can do without all that for a while. So that rewatchability definitely isn't there. But we get Sam, who's iconic. He is cute. He's adorable and terrifying. I think he's more terrifying with the sack on his head, honestly.
Yeah,
Just like I think Jason Voorhees should have always just had the sack
Mhm.
because that's way more terrifying. But
I agree with that.
yeah, so it gave us an iconic character that you can't go into any store on Halloween and not see his face or a blanket, or it's gonna have something with Sam on it. So that stands for something, kind of like the Blair Witch Project. Like how we feel about the Blair Witch today, as
Mhm.
opposed to then. But we have to take a step back and recognize what it did for the genre and what it gave us going forward. So I'll stick with my 3.5. Kellen.
Um, yeah, to finish my thought though about the same universe, it does say that it's supported by Easter eggs and deleted scenes that show connections such as Sam's pumpkin lollipop. So, if you want to watch them both together and see if you can find some connections to the universe, by all means, I won't. But Jay said it perfectly. You have to give a little bonus points to creating an iconic character, regardless of if the movie bombed, if the movie you didn't like it. You have to give respect to somebody for creating such a great character. And the twist that it wasn't a kid. I thought it was going to be the principal's son.
Mhm.
Um, he's maybe some kind of demonic son. I thought there was going to be a connection there, but when it comes out that he shoots him and pumpkin guts come out, I was like, that's okay. So this is a supernatural being. And then when he rips the mask off, of course, and you see that face for the first time, that behind Jay's left shoulder, that horrifying pumpkin face, it's just so iconic. And like you said, you can't go into a Spirit Halloween or any store that sells Halloween merchandise this time of year and not see Sam somewhere. So for that, I give it a 2.5. It's not for me, but I'm gonna go the route that John usually goes. Just because it's not for me doesn't mean I can't see the importance or the why this movie would be liked. It's just I'm just not an anthology guy, I guess. So 2.5.
Peach.
It's I also vacillated back and forth between 3.5, 4, but you know, it's not one that I watch every year. I watch it maybe every other year. Um, I don't worship it and love it like so many other people do that watch it every year, but I still think it's good. I do enjoy watching it. But it's one I have to kind of almost like half forget in between to really appreciate, even though it's only 82 minutes, which is a good sweet spot for this kind of movie. So it's a solid 3.5 for me. I do enjoy it. It's not in my, it probably does barely crack my top 10 of favorite horror anthologies just because I'm a nerd and I love all those old British ones. But yeah, it's 3.5. Also, uh, something that Jay just made me realize is that the Sam character has always reminded me of the Baghead Ghost Child in the Guillermo del Toro produced, not
The
directed,
Orphanage. Yeah.
Orphanage.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's
Great
another
movie.
great
What does he
movie.
not do or have a hand in that's not?
Everything he touches is gold.
I want to meet him. I would love to just give him a hug. Or let him hug me. He's a big dude. Just warm fuzzy. You, TJ, also played into what John said about rewatchability because you said you need time to forget this before you watch it again. So that's 3 for that one. All right, John.
I would say, I mean, it's not something I'm going to watch a lot. I like it. I mean, I do like it a lot. I own it. It's not something I'm going to watch every year anymore. It's just, I think I've seen it too much. I kind of go between 3.5 and 4, like all of you guys. I probably settle at 3.5 out of 5, but I absolutely understand why people love this movie. I get it like 100%. I think I've seen it too much. I think that's really all it
If
is.
this movie came out when I was like a preteen or a teenager and I grew up watching it, it'd be at least a 4 for me, probably.
Yeah.
All right, so that puts us at 3.25 because of, Kelan. I do think the Dylan Baker's son, that's the one of Kenny Powers' nephews in Eastbound and Down. And I just always, whenever I see
That's
him,
right.
I always think about him dancing in one scene and then Kenny Powers calling him, "What's up, Shrek?" Like it just cracks me up every time I see him. Was he in Bad Santa too, right? Is he the kid in Bad Santa?
Yes, he is a bad son. Yeah. Is he the kid in Eastbound and Down that's sitting there and Kenny's like staring at him through the door when he's like
And
asleep
he's
and he
like,
like
when he
hides
comes
it?
back from a bender, he's just like
Yes.
hitting his pillow on the ground. Oh God, that's such a good scene. That's like the first episode, or maybe 2. But anyways,
Yeah.
all right, 3.25 for Trick or Treat. Let us know what your rankings are, even though you never do. All right, that's it for this episode. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, to wherever you're listening to this podcast. Follow us on Instagram, join our Facebook group, follow us on TikTok, Amazon Music playlist. And come back next week for our Halloween special with Vito Trigo. We'll be talking about Halloween 4 with the immortal Paul Rudd. Possibly costumes will be worn. We'll see. All right, signing off. I'm Jay with John, Kelan, and TJ. And until next time.
Keep it spooky.
Halloween
Yeah.
4 is that's going to be an interesting discussion.
I've
I
watched that
think
in
I've
the
only
last
seen it
month.
all the way through once.
Are you serious?
I've never seen it.
4, 5, and 6.
I really
As of
like
right now,
4.
without rewatching them, I hate them.
You don't like 6 with Paul Rudd?
You don't like
No.
the Thorn trilogy?
Is Paul Rudd in? Paul Rudd's not in 4.
He's
And I
in
said that.
just 6. Yeah.
Just 6.
Danielle
yeah.
Harris is in 4. Someone's gonna at me on that one.
I have so much love for 6 that it's like it's not. I have no defense of that movie. I just love
Like
it.
my thing
Yeah.
is like it's supernatural anyways, right? But then
Yeah.
they go so hard into supernatural, and it kind of turns me off.
Yeah.
And what some weird foreign director did 4,
5.
5.
Yeah,
A
the
French
French
guy.
guy.
I'm again. I haven't watched them all in a very long time, and even then, I probably half-assed it. So I will watch them again eventually. And maybe
This is the one. Well, I almost said I watch every Halloween movie, but I don't watch the Rob Zombie ones. I don't watch Resurrection every year, but I do watch 1 through 7 every year at some point.
Resurrection's better than it should be.
I rewatched Resurrection this past week,
I
and
don't have an issue with Resurrection. I mean, it was bad at the time, but you go back and watch it.
It
it's
was
fun.
always weird though when
It's-
Buster Rhymes jumps in and he goes, "Break your fucking neck," and then that would have been hilarious if he would have done that and then like drop kicked him.
well, he basically did.
Hey, I'm with y'all. If we do a resurrection, that'll probably be one of the ones where we universally like for no reason. Like,
I
'cause
like-
it's not
I-
that it's a great movie.
One,
It is
2.
not.
This is
it's
not
so
in order,
stupid
but
fun.
more rewatchable. I watch 1 almost every year. I can watch 2 almost every year. 3, H2O.
Yeah.
And I have no
sure.
issue with Rob Zombies, but I can't watch them every year. They're just too.
I will
too
say
dark.
for me, it's 1 and H2O of the Halloweens that I've seen as far as 1 and 2. Like 2 just doesn't do it for me. I
Who's just
don't know
there,
why.
right?
Yeah, and I also typically think of 1 and 2 as the same movie. It's just
Yeah.
a continuation of the same movie.
But I
Kill
grew
Bill.
up watching them back to back
H2O's
on
the
USA.
nostalgia for me. That's the
2 is-
nostalgia. Michael
2
Myers.
is like, God, that's got to be like top 3 favorite horror movies for me. I love it so much. I know what
2
you're saying. God, I
2
love
is
it.
maybe, I think, the most perfect horror sequel just because it literally picks up the moment after, and because Dean Cundy did the cinematography. Yeah, it's more of an 80s slasher than the first one is, and John Carpenter didn't direct it, but he did direct a lot of the reshoots and
Just always
inserts.
hate because I was a third shift tech at a hospital for 6.5 years. I always hate when they make hospitals barren wastelands. Like there's nobody in the
Fair.
hospital at night.
That is on record on another episode.
Yeah, and I will tell you, I've worked in hospitals at night. There are people on every floor.